I adopted Aiden when he was 4. We knew he had issues, but we weren't sure of the level of the issues and the severity of them. Then we started seeing more things, and at 4, I think you start really starting to develop things, and you can tell next to your peers maybe there's something that's not right, you know, and people start asking questions, and I didn't have the answers.
As a parent, I don't think any of us want to ever say that our child has a problem that is bad enough or big enough that we can't handle within our own family, and that we have to seek outside help for.
You have to really stop and think. This could be your daughter, your son, your niece, your nephew, your neighbor, the children you see playing in the streets in your neighborhood.
The teachers didn't have a diagnosis for him, so they didn't give him any services other than learning disability, you know, a little extra help. So he was basically getting punished as he was getting into 1st grade and 2nd grade for these behaviors that I knew he couldn't help. I was getting calls every single day to deal with him. He just was like, "Mom, I don't know what they want. I don't know, I can't do what they want me to do." As far as the community and school, he was so depressed as, you know, 5, 6-year-old. He was depressed and he was anxious, and he was just failing to thrive as far as education. And so we knew as we were getting a little bit older that we were going to have to figure something out because nobody else was really going to do it.
At the end of his 2nd grade year, it became very apparent that he wasn't doing well. He was having problems that were far beyond what any parent wanted to handle, especially when your child is 8 years old. And you know, at 8, I think children are supposed to love life and have fun and make friends. And my child was withdrawn and lonely and depressed and didn't feel like he fit in anywhere, and really didn't feel like he even fit into his own family anymore.
So it was just crazy. We came in for an appointment, and I just said, "Is there anything else that we can do?" And the doctors were just looking over everything, and I think I had some knowledge about Rose Street School, and I said, "Is this something that Aiden would benefit from? Is this something that might put an end to all of this?" And his doctor just said, "That's probably a really great idea," and we went from there.
What makes Rose Street School such a special place is that you have the opportunity to see the child interact with other children. You get to see them in the classroom setting. I get to see them on an individual counseling basis. I get to see the whole family once a week. And so you're treating this child as a whole. It's a more holistic approach. So, and they're also being evaluated for medication adjustments if needed. They may not need medications, but it's so unique. You know, in the public school, they're there to educate, and we have a wonderful public school system in Wichita Falls, but there's some children that just need that little extra mental health piece to the puzzle. So that's kind of what we're able to do.
The Rose Street School Day Treatment Program really does provide a wide range of treatment for many, many disorders. Some kids that are here may have just been through a tough time, maybe parents got divorced. Some kids might be overly hyper. They can't sit still in a classroom. Some kids come here after a trauma. Some kids have behavior problems. They get kicked out of their schools and not be able to return to that school. So we see kids that have mental health issues, but they're so common. These kids just need a little extra help. They're not crazy, but they need some help, and that's what we're here to do.
And I remember the first time when we came to family counseling and we sat down with Shannon Fletcher, it was the first time, as she described what she was doing with Aiden and that she was the first person who got Aiden, except for our family, who I thought she understands him and she got him. And so that was awesome.
We were probably 3 or 4 weeks into the school, and we were with people that he sees all the time. And I mean, they just raved and went on about how they couldn't believe he was talking, and they couldn't believe that he was smiling, and they were just amazed because he was just behaving so different than he had been. I mean, they'll tell you that's a totally different child. I mean, he really is.
What's so nice to see is that we're able to send them back to their school, and we're able to confidently say, this child can sit in his desk. He has learned to raise his hand. He has manners. He's saying, yes ma'am, yes sir, please and thank you. He's not hitting his sister anymore. He's able to complete his work for the most part. And another helpful thing is for us to be able to tell the school and the family, here's some things that worked. Here's how to handle this situation, because not every child responds the same way with every technique. You really have to think outside of the box.
That's what we're here to do, and to work on it on a daily basis until they feel like they're prepared to go out there and conquer life on their own.
We started seeing very positive changes in the students. Changes in their when they would get through with their time at Rose Street and they would come back to the public school. Then we saw much less absenteeism, much less behavioral problems. So really, it was kind of one of those things. As soon as we started putting them in, and when they started returning back to the school, when they were integrated back into the public school, you could see that change had happened, a positive change. And the school was addressing the specific needs of the child. And of course, while the child is there, the child is furthering their education.
We're 6 months past when he was actively here, and yet he still talks about the teachers here, the counselors here, some of the things he was taught here. It's amazing that 6 or 7 weeks can impact a child potentially for the rest of their life. When you hear somebody saying really good things about your child, they're doing really good in school, they're making friends, and you can just be a beaming parent and feel like your child's doing really well.
I think it's important to know that we are the only day treatment program between here and Oklahoma City and between here and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As an example, in Fort Worth, there are 2 extremely successful, self-supporting, large day treatment programs. Actually, one of them came up and modeled themselves after our program, but they do not take Medicaid. They do not take children without insurance. The need, in my view, is with the Medicaid children.
Unfortunately, in the state of Texas, Medicaid, which is the largest provider for health care, does not support mental health. It does for outpatient basis and for inpatient, like hospitalization. At Rose Street, our school, our treatment center, is a partial hospitalization. So kids come here and they stay through the day, get the treatment they need, and go home at night. Medicaid does not support that.
And so if there wasn't a place like Rose Street School in our community, where would they go?
Unfortunately, our resources are thinned out a great deal because we don't get reimbursed for the care that these kids get.
The staff here is extremely passionate about what they do, and we truly care about the individuals that we serve and their families. It sounds hokey these days, maybe, to say it, but we see it. We see it in the kids, and we see what happens when they are exposed to that kind of sophisticated affirmation. This isn't just love cures everything. That isn't this kind of a program. It's a big part of it. But this is a sophisticated, up-to-date, medical, comprehensive, multidisciplinary program that works.
But this program works, and it is so necessary for these kids. And so many of these people are in financial situations that they don't have insurance and all of that. And you know, it's a lifeline to so many young people that we deal with, and that, you know, this is their last chance. It's their last hope. And people don't understand that this time in this child's life, we kind of have this opportunity. It's here and it's now, and we either do something then, or it's going to be too late.
So if we weren't here to kind of be that buffer or to be that resource to help figure out what's going on, to give that family some support, to give that family a little bit of encouragement, to let them know you're not alone, we're going to help you figure this out. A lot of these children in these families, I believe, would continue to suffer at least, but potentially fail in life in general.
The people that you're supporting are people that are going to come back to this community, have families here, raise children, and all of that. And you know, the better we can do to help them, the more successful they're going to be, the more successful our community is going to be. And you know, we all benefit from that. Everyone does, all of us.